Now to one of our favorite features of the program this evening, the Shark Tank. The Shark Tank, or at least our version of it.
Welcome to Oorah's Shark Tank. The battle for a cause.
You are wrong. Stop yelling and listen to what I have to say.
These program directors are fighting to win.
You'll get the most for your money when you invest in my program.
It's clear that my program is the program.
And win big.
Our first shark this evening is Committeeman Isaac Ackerman, who has been the mayor of Lakewood in 2013 and 2015, deputy mayor in 2016, and we're sure that he knows how to wheedle the truth out of people and make the right decisions. And we have three of our esteemed Oorah staff members here to push their agenda to the Shark Ackerman. And welcome to the Oorah-thon.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here tonight. And yes, I hope to throw some hard-boiled questions at our three presenters, and I hope to make a good decision where I should give my money to.
Okay, and who's going first from our contestants this evening? Let's start with Rabbi Forrester. Rabbi Forrester, what are you pushing?
We're talking about events at the zone.
Uh-huh.
One of the crown jewels of Oorah's programs. Let me give you a little bit of an idea. Thank you so much for coming.
My
and
pleasure.
I appreciate the consideration. And give you a little bit of an idea of what events are like. There are many people that are learning with Torah mates. We just heard from a Torah mate, a 10-year Torah mate, and she was complaining about the environment of where she lives. There are people that are learning, and they're spending lots of time at their Torah mate learning. Their children may be in schools, and they're doing wonderfully. But what they're learning is theory. But then when they come home and they want to put that to practice, sometimes that becomes difficult. Events at the zone gives a family that opportunity, in a family style, come up to the zone, beautiful place to be, beautiful place to celebrate any Chag, any event, and learn how to celebrate that Chag in the real authentic Jewish way. Then they can then take that feeling, take that practice, and bring that back home. Now that they've seen it in action, they've felt it, they've actually lived it, now they can bring that home, and that makes their experience that much easier. It brings the theory of Torah to practice.
Thank you very much. I'm not sure what the format here is. Do I ask questions, or can I hear all three first? Or should I hear all three first?
I would say let's hear all three first, and then you can kind
Make
of
sure you're taking good
skewer.
notes,
Because
skewer
I
us.
have to take notes, and I have to figure out. I have to have what to base each one against. So otherwise, I may not have any questions. I may go through all three of them and say, look,
You're going to donate to all three of them.
Yeah, or just one.
Or just
because
one.
One just sticks out more than the
Someone
others.
might do just that
Isaac,
miserable
is
a
this
job.
donation a township donation, or this is a private donation?
Well, we're going to have to talk about that offline. Township donations we have to discuss
Now,
later.
Isaac, before you leave tonight, I have a couple of applications I want to discuss with you.
Zone changes, whatever you need. That's what I'm here for.
Isaac, you truly are a friend of everyone in Lakewood. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Okay,
My
Rabbi
pleasure.
Biederman.
Okay.
Okay, Rabbi Forster discussed the wonderful experience of being an event at the zone. But what happens when you get home and you don't know what to do, or your kid doesn't know what to do? Nobody in your family knows how to celebrate. Nobody in your family understands exactly what Judaism is all about. And when you send your kid to a yeshiva, they get that education, and he brings it home. And he brings what he learns in yeshiva or in their day school home with them. And they bring home the meat and potatoes of Judaism, which is what they study in yeshiva. They get the fundamentals, they get the practices, they get the understanding, they get the all-around, everything about Judaism is in that school. Oorah has nearly 700 children enrolled in schools across the country, and our budget and our enrollment is up about 10% from last year.
Wow,
We
it's very
spend
impressive. If I
we
must
spend
say, 700
spend
is a
millions
lot.
we spend millions of dollars a year, well over $2 million a year in tuition, not in auctions, but in tuition subsidies to put kids in yeshiva, kids that would otherwise be in public school. They bring that home. They have what to teach, and those children themselves will go on to build families that are well-founded and well-grounded and well-established in Jewish tradition because of that experience. Everything else is nice. It's wonderful. It's fluff and stuff. The meat and potatoes is paying for a tuition for a kid in yeshiva. That's the meat and potatoes of Judaism, and that's where you'll get the best bang for your buck.
Wow, it's heating up here. It's starting to get confusing. I thought I had an answer after Rabbi Forster, but now it's starting, I'll be honest with you, it's starting to get confusing for me. But
Yes,
ahead,
you're right.
Rabbi
This is only the
Reichman,
beginning.
please. Rabbi
This is
Reichman,
only the beginning of your confusion.
Yeah, confuse me a little more, please.
Okay, first of all, Rabbi Isaac, good Tvach, and it's always a
Tavach,
pleasure to see you.
Tavach.
Being that we spent some time together in the Zone campus. I have
Don't
no-
try to don't try to wheedle this in. You know,
Beat him in your
massage
hand, your
this.
chance. And let me have
Raf's
my
doing a
chance.
great job. Continue. Don't listen to them.
Being that we spent some time together in the Zone campus, I know where your heart lies, and you know what the campus, our Zone campus, is all about. I don't have to convince you, but for the benefit of our listeners and viewers, as to why you're going to be donating your money to camp, I'd like to explain it to them. Well, first of all, the Zone campus is a state-of-the-art. It's really a resort. It's not really a camp, with all the amenities and exciting, great activities, including zip line, ATVs, horseback riding, alpine slide, batting cage, bumper boats, and the list goes on and on. And the reason why we invest so much to have this beautiful campus is because we want to give kids that are not yet from the opportunity to experience Yiddishkeit, the beauty of Yiddishkeit, the geschmack of Yiddishkeit, in a fun-filled, relaxed atmosphere, away from the pressures of school. We all know how pressurizing school could be, and many kids have a hard time in school, and they feel like you're cramming it down their throat. So we want the kids to be able to experience this wonderful experience.
We would never send kids to such a school.
They will have this wonderful experience away from the city, and sometimes they need that break from the family as well to be able to experience it without any pressure. And believe it or not, one of the most difficult jobs we have in camp is to hold back some of our campers. They experience such a beautiful Yiddishkeit that they want to dive in head first and start keeping so many mitzvahs that they see the staff members keeping. And we have to hold them back and tell them, slow down, take it slow, let's experience it and see what it's all about, and one step at a time. I just heard a story about 20 minutes ago from a veteran counselor of ours, Benny Ben Alil. He said the first week of camp, the junior division, one of his campers was homesick, so after curfew he took him out and he took him to the canteen, and they ordered up a nice feast from the canteen at night, and he was sitting with him on a bench and he was talking to him and he asked him, would you like to make a bracha? So the kid said yes, and he told him how to make the bracha word by word, and the kid said the bracha. And then he asked the kid, this camper, is this your first time making a bracha? He said no. He said, how many times have you made a bracha before? He said, one time before. He said, by the other counselor, every bunk has two counselors. Our co-counselor, he took me out last night also, and he also brought me food from the canteen. I made a bracha last night just to show you the devotion and care that our staff members have for our campers. And once they experience that, then when they go back to school and when they go to events, they look at it with a different way, and they're able to internalize everything else that Oorah does and that Yiddishkeit is all about.
Thank you. So I was right. When they come to events, that's when they internalize it.
The bottom line is they can go to all the events and all the camps, but they don't know what to do in real life until they go to yeshiva and they learn.
Oh my gosh, listen, this is not...
In camp, there's plenty of learning, and then they keep up with a Torah mate throughout the year who constantly advises them and helps them and learns with them before every yontif, telling them what every yontif is all about.
And meeting other kids and meeting kids that live near them, and they get a whole social experience, and it's a whole different ball of wax, a whole year, 10 months a year, not 2 months a
So
year.
that's what's important. That's what's different about the zone. The zone is not a summer camp. The zone camp is the beginning of a relationship. Every camper in the zone camp gets a Torah mate during camp to learn every day for a half hour with his Torah mate, and then they keep up throughout the year.
What are you thinking, Rabbi Ackerman? I mean, they all make strong. Could we?
Give him a bottle of Excedrin.
No, I mean...
Could we? Are you ready to eliminate one of the three? How about that?
Well, listen, it's very confusing. You know, I expected to have an easier time here because, especially since I've been at events already, and I spent time with some of them. I know Rabbi Biederman for a long time, and I figured whatever he's doing has to be amazing. So I figured somehow I'm going to be able to smell this out very quickly. But how about if I ask a couple of questions now and see if it'll help me make a decision? Because right now I honestly don't have one. So I guess we'll start with Rabbi Forster since he went first. So about events. It's very nice that you have all these events, and I'm sure they cost a lot of money. So why should I donate for you to have events? Why can't we just have people invite their Torah mates to their houses for Yantif or something, and then they'll get a real experience, and and maybe they'll learn about Yiddishkeit better that way.
Believe it or not, that does happen. And that's how we know that the two don't compare. Because there are Torah mates that do invite families over, and they have a great time. But try experiencing Shavuos, try experiencing Kabbalas HaTorah with 500 people, and everybody singing together, sitting around the table with 500 people, versus sitting around the table with 10 people. There's an awesomeness that doesn't compare. Or doing a mock Seder in school, or even a Seder in a home, doesn't compare to Rabbi Mintz's Seder at the Zone.
Fair enough. But how about this? You have 500 people now. It might get a little impersonal, right? Like maybe do an event with 300 people, and then you don't need my money, right? I mean, maybe 300 people is better than 500. It's much more personal. I don't know. That's just what I'm thinking.
Well, we've done 300 and we've done 500, and the raving reviews speaks for itself.
Okay, fair enough. I've actually seen the 500, so I can't argue with it too much, to be honest. Okay, Rabbi Biederman, I have a question for you. Like, why pay for full tuition for children? Maybe pay for tutors for some of them. Tuition is very expensive. Maybe, I know back in the day when the Yidden came over from Europe, not all Yidden had the opportunity to have a yeshiva, a full-fledged yeshiva in their neighborhoods. So a lot of people after public school, they took classes in Yiddish either by private tutors, or maybe there was a day school in the neighborhood. Maybe we should set up day schools in certain places for a couple hours a day for after the children get home, and then maybe they'll be close to home and they'll be able to influence their parents. Maybe that's better.
That would be a great idea if it worked. Many of the actually, my wife taught in the Talmud Torah for a number of years, so we've been through the Talmud Torah experience. Those people that did send their kids to Talmud Torah, the few that it worked for, generally had very strong homes. And when the home was strong and the kid went to Talmud Torah, it might work. When the home itself is not a strong home, you need a full immersion experience. Public school itself, the influence of the public school culture, the kids they befriend, that whole culture is something that has to change. And when you have a paradigm change, and you move the kid to a yeshiva where there's immersion in this whole Jewish culture, and you want to not only have Jewish education, but you want to have Jewish continuity, Jewish affiliation, Jewish identity. When you have a yeshiva experience, you're taking the kid out of a absolutely negative experience and moving him to an absolutely positive experience. Even if you were to set up Talmud Torahs that would mitigate one aspect of it, would give them a little bit of an education. Also, generally, kids that go to public school are totally disinterested because they're interested in spending the rest of the day hanging out with their public school friends. They're interested in going to the park with their friends. They're interested in going roller skating with their friends. They're not interested in going to some Jewish religious class, like some bar mitzvah lesson, after their day in public school.
I have to agree with that. Yeah, you have to get them out of their environment into a full-fledged yeshiva environment. That is a good thing. But I do have another question.
Some really great questions from the Shark so far, as I see the program directors here really sweating. I mean, they're really grueling here. But for all those listening on the air, if you want to call in and donate, if you find one of the arguments compelling, and you want to choose which program, or you don't care which program, you're happy with all of them, and you want to donate, now is the time to call 1-8777-AUCTION. Or if you don't care about Kira at all, and you just want to win prizes, yes, sure.
It's all about the prizes.
We'll take your money too, no problem. Call 1-877-7-AUCTION, 1-877-7-AUCTION. Just want to make sure to get that in there as people are listening to these wonderful, inspiring different programs.
Is there an online option?
I think there is an online option.
Oorah.org.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, now I have another question for you. Why should I be giving money to your program? Why can't these yeshivas, don't they see the importance of this? The yeshivas that you're sending to, why can't they offer free tuition? Why should I have to pay for that?
I think that's a great tweet. I think Rabbi Schnall is working on that in New Jersey. But now,
Rabbi Schnall has his hands full. You know how many things Rabbi Schnall is doing right now? I mean, how can he possibly do all that? How can you do everything?
His bosses would like to know.
Agudatisrael.org. Okay.
Whoa.
There is no such website. Anyway, it would be great if yeshivas could offer free tuition. There'll be a lot of heated discussion about that later, from what I understand. However, yeshivas right now have to pay
Trust me, nothing about that discussion later. It involves yeshiva offering free tuition. Just saying.
We can discuss it, but it ain't going to happen.
Yeah, we could discuss it.
Well, if they get vouchers, I don't know. But anyway, the reality is yeshivas are overburdened. Yeshivas are You'll hear later from people involved in education, people involved in trying to help yeshivas. Yeshivas are overburdened as it is. Their resources are overtaxed. They're underfunded because they have to pay RAM salaries. It would be great in a perfect world if we could have free tuition for everybody, just like the public school system. But unfortunately, we can't tax everybody, and everybody's already paying taxes for the public school system. It would be wonderful if we could overwhelm the public school system and just make them Jewish schools and everything else. But as a public officer, you know that that's not a reality, and that's not even viable. The state can't fund religious education, and they don't. So what we have is we have a situation where we're paying for these rebbeim, we're paying for teachers, we have a dual curriculum, we have to pay salaries. That costs money. And yeshivas just can't afford to just give free tuition. They raise money to help subsidize this tuition. Oorah does drive a hard bargain and get subsidized rates for their tuitions. But these kids would otherwise, bottom line is, these kids would otherwise be in public school if we weren't subsidizing their tuition. And yes, yeshivas carry a good part of a good chunk of the burden of these children's tuitions, but our budget is still well over $2 million a year in tuitions.
Wow, okay, I hear that. And by the way, you just scored 50 points by me because you called me a public official. You didn't say I'm a politician. That's big by me. You know, I hate when people call me a politician.
I know you're too long.
Okay, so on to Rabbi Reichman. You have so much staff. I mean, you have 684 students, I think, and over 500 staff members. Usually there's like a counselor and maybe 10 kids to a bunk. And here you have 500 staff members. You almost have more staff members than there are students. Like, why should I fund so many staff members? Why can't you just skim it down? Maybe have 100 staff members, and then it won't cost you as much.
Okay, that's a very fair question. Well, first of all our staff members are volunteers. It still costs money to have them in camp, but they're volunteers and they do not get a salary. And the reason why we have so many staff members are, first, number one, we want to be able to give special individualized attention for each camper. As mentioned before, we have 2 counselors for each bunk. Plus, we have many activities in camp that have to be run by staff. Whether it's zip line, we have to make sure the campers are going on in a safe fashion. They have 2 staff members where the kids are going on, 2 staff members where the kids come off to unhook them.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I could tell you that the zip line is very safe. I did it, and I tried to unhook myself so I could fall in the lake, but there was no way. So it's very safe. It's very safe.
Nothing like a personal experience.
Yeah.
Well, so this is just amazing. You've asked some really good questions. I think what we're going to do now, we'll give you a couple minutes to just consider which one you're going to.
One more important point. It will take 20 seconds.
One more important point.
We want all our kids to have a Torah mate to keep up with them throughout the year. So our high staff ratio gives us that opportunity for every kid to have a Torah mate to keep up with them throughout the year.
Wow, I think I'm getting a headache. Wow, these are great answers, and I wouldn't mind a couple of minutes.
Yeah,
to think
so
about
while
this.
we're going to go to commercial, Rabbi Ackerman is going to, after we come back, he's going to tell us which of these 3 programs he's going to donate. And no cheapos, I like everybody, and they're really all wonderful, and I'm going to divide it up. One, you got to pick one. And I don't
Unless he triples his donation,
you'll
like
lose it.
No.
It's like voting by an election. You have to pick one candidate.
You have to pick one candidate. So we're going to go to a commercial break and call right now at 1-877-AUCTION. As soon as we come back, Rabbi Ackerman will have his decision. Welcome back to the Oorah Auction, 1-877-AUCTION. We had 3 of our staff members here make presentations for competing for Rabbi Ackerman's money, whether it's tuition supplements, the camp, or the events. So, Rabbi Ackerman, you asked some good questions.
It's very hard for me.
What do you think?
This is not easy. You know, I know, camps are just a place where children could shine. And I will tell you, I'm going to give a donation to all 3, but I'm going to choose one. But camps are just a place where children could shine. It's such an amazing opportunity. As I said, I saw the camp. I've been at the events. And also, Yom Tov is a recharge for Yidden. It's such an amazing thing also. But I have to say that I can't believe that we're actually taking children who never saw the inside of a yeshiva, and we're putting them into yeshivas. As a Frum Yid, that's what I have to go with, taking them out of their environment, as Rabbi Biederman said, and putting them into a yeshiva setting all year. I can't argue with that, and that's what I'm going to go with.
Very good.
Okay,
Tuition it is. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rabbi Isaac Ackerman, for joining us. Thank you all of the staff here for making your presentations.
I think we better get
in this Shark Tank segment. We're going to have another Shark Tank segment coming up very soon. Thank you all so very much.